If you have a robot vacuum and you're still taking out your phone and opening the app every time you want to run the vacuum, you're doing it wrong. Today I want to talk about 5 useful ways to automate the cleaning of your house with your robot vacuum in your smart home. Sponsored by SwitchBot. My name is Shane and this channel is all about setting up and automating a smart home the easy way. Now, I'm a big Apple home user, so that's gonna be the focus of today's video, but these automations that we'll discuss today really can be set up in just about any smart home ecosystem that supports robot vacuums, if maybe you're using something else. And if you are also an Apple home user, you probably know that HomeKit only recently gained support for robot vacuums thanks to Matter. It took a while, but we're here now. So let's discuss some useful ways to automate your robot vacuums. I'm gonna be using the new SwitchBot S20 robot vacuum mop for this today. I think this is probably the best budget-friendly, full-feature robot vacuum mop combo with full Matter support out there right now, but more on that in a minute. For now, let's get automating. The first one is a simple one and probably the most obvious. Set the vacuum to clean at a certain time each day or only on certain days of the week. Yes, this is of course something you could always do in the manufacturer's app, but the benefit of doing it in the Apple Home app is that you can automate other devices with it at the same time with your robot vacuum. So maybe you want to turn on certain lights or open the smart shades for better visibility. You could do that with a single automation. Having your robot vacuum automatically clean on a regular schedule is a great way to ensure your floors stay clean and you never have to think about it. And if you hate having the robot vacuum run while you're at home, maybe you work from home or you don't have a regular schedule, something like that, you could also have the vacuum clean automatically when everyone leaves the house. Create an automation that says when I leave home or when the last person leaves, start cleaning. For this one, just consider if you may leave multiple times a day, you probably don't want to run the vacuum, more than once a day. So to accommodate that, I would add a condition to your automation so the automation only runs maybe between certain hours. You could also use a dummy switch or a virtual switch as a condition for your automation so it only runs, once a day. When the automation runs, you could turn on the switch, then add the condition so that the automation only runs if the switch is off. Again, a simpler way would just be to only run the vacuum when everyone leaves between certain hours of the day. Similarly, you could create another automation that stops and docks the robot vacuum when you return home. This way, it would only be running when you are not home. Adding your robot vacuum to your smart home scenes is also a really great way to automate the cleaning. For example, I have a going to bed scene that I run every night, and it locks all the doors, turns off the living room TV, makes sure the garage is closed, and sets the alarm. This could be a great time to run the robot vacuum downstairs. Simply add the robot vacuum to your going to bed scene and let it do its thing. You'll wake up with clean floors every day. Another method could be using another accessory as your automation trigger, like your alarm system. For example, every night when the security system is armed after 9 p.m., start the vacuum. Now, I don't know about you, but every time we get bad weather here, our floors are dirtier than usual because of humans and dogs tracking in grass and things like that. So you can even create a weather-based automation that says, if it rains, run the vacuum, maybe just in the entryway where mud and grass gets tracked in. This could be good if you don't have your vacuum set to run every single day already, and that way you could get extra cleanings done just when it's needed. To set this up, you could create an automation, let's say every day at 9:30 p.m. Then you'll convert that to a shortcut. And here we can add some scripting. First, we're gonna look for get the weather forecast. This is going to get the daily forecast. Now we're going to add get items from list, and we're going to get the first item from the list, which will be the forecast for today. Next, we're going to look for get details of weather conditions. Add this, and then we're going to change the detail here to precipitation amount. and it's going to get that from the item list automatically. As you can see here, that's working. Now we're going to add our if action, and it's going to automatically pull in the precipitation amount from the previous action. And we're just going to change this to say if precipitation is greater than or equal to, we can change this to 1 inch. Now we're just going to add our robot vacuum in here. We're going to change this to clean just the foyer area at 9:30 p.m. Automatic is fine. And we're good to go. Now we can see here, this is getting the daily forecast for just today, getting the precipitation amount. And if the precipitation is more than 1 inch, it's gonna run the vacuum just in the foyer at night for that extra cleaning only on rainy days. Next, I want to show you one of my favorite ways to use your robot vacuum in Apple Home. But first, let me tell you about this SwitchBot S20 that I've been using here in this video. The S20 is SwitchBot's latest flagship robot vacuum mop combo. It fully supports Matter 1.4 over Wi-Fi, so you can get it into Apple Home or any other smart home ecosystem that supports robot vacuums. Possibly the best thing about this vacuum is the price. Well, not the best thing, but that's definitely up there. With the MSRP of only $799.99 US, I think it's one of the most budget-friendly full-feature vacuums with Matter support in 2025. Excellent obstacle avoidance is one of the most important things for me personally when I'm looking for a robot vacuum, and I was pleasantly surprised with the AI obstacle avoidance on this thing being as good or better than many of the robot vacuums that I've used that literally cost about twice as much. You can buy it with the standard all-in-one base station like I have, or the auto fill and drain station where you can connect it to your main water line so you never have to worry about refilling the water tank or emptying the dirty water. And get this, if you have the SwitchBot humidifier, you can even set the robot vacuum to fill up the humidifier for you so you don't have to remember to do it yourself. Pretty cool stuff that SwitchBot has going on here. Like I said, this robot vacuum has all the features of the high-end robot vacuums out there. You can conduct different cleaning strategies for different floor types or rooms. For example, I like to use very little water for the hardwood floors, but heavier water for the tile floors, and I can do that here. It's got that great AI obstacle avoidance, an anti-tangle V-shaped side brush, and an anti-tangle main rubber brush, 10,000 pascals of suction power, strong mopping pressure with the roller style mop that continuously cleans itself as it's mopping. The base station auto refills clean water and empties the dirty water and the dry debris, plus it dries the mop with hot air. You can find robot vacuums out there with slightly better specs, but you'll typically be paying almost twice as much. Considering everything that this does and how well it does it for the price, I think makes this the best full feature robot vacuum if you're on a tighter budget. And like I said, it fully supports Matter, so you can get it into Apple Home, which is a huge bonus. I'll put a link for the SwitchBot S20 down below in the video description if you want to check it out for yourself. All right, now on to one of my favorite ways to automate the robot vacuum. Automated cleaning schedules are great, but sometimes, you just want to clean a certain room or area right now on the spot. Maybe the kids made a mess or the dogs tracked in some dirt. Instead of getting out your phone, opening the SwitchBot app, finding the room, and manually choosing the cleaning settings, all that stuff, wouldn't it be great if you could just do all that without even opening the app? And that's where NFC tags come in. NFC tags are these little programmable stickers that you can place anywhere. They're super cheap on Amazon, and you can put one of these in each room so that when you tap it with your iPhone, the vacuum will automatically start cleaning just that room. To set this up, just create a new NFC automation in the Shortcuts app. Choose your robot vacuum as one of your Apple Home accessories and specify which room for it to clean. And that's it. Floor's a little dirty after cooking a big meal in the kitchen. Simply tap the NFC tag with your iPhone once you're done to begin a quick cleanup. And one thing to note about NFC automations though, these are personal automations, so you'll have to set up the automation for each phone in your house. if you want multiple people to be able to do this. Also worth noting, SwitchBot sells NFC tags that can also be programmed in their app, which would also work if you're using a SwitchBot robot vacuum. And if all that seems like too much trouble, you can just use on any of your Apple devices like your iPhone, Apple Watch, or HomePods. Did you know that you can command the robot to vacuum or mop specific rooms with just a voice command without the need to set up any additional automations? Once your map is configured in the SwitchBot app, for example, for your robot vacuum, and you've added the device to your Apple Home app, you can just say, mop the kitchen.
Initiating cleaning.
You can also tell it to stop cleaning anytime you want, and it will return to the dock. Dock the robot vacuum.
Cleaning paused.
As someone with a spouse that pretty much refuses to use any additional smart home apps outside of the Apple Home app, having these automations or even voice commands to easily control the vacuum is a huge benefit. But let me know what you think, and if you have any automations set up for your robot vacuum in your smart home that you would like to share, please let us know down below in the comments. And if you're new to Apple Home or smart home tech in general, check out my updated 101 playlist right here that's gonna give you all the basics you need to know for setting up a smart home in 2025. Also, I live stream every Wednesday right here, so come join the conversation to ask questions and discuss all the latest smart home tech each week. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.